memory. You know, if I can teach you how to live longer and live better, how do you keep the memories there so it's worth living longer? So the first step that Dr. Fatoui says is absolutely important is to take a memory-boosting DHA supplement. Why is this so important to protect the brain in Alzheimer's?
DHA improves blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, and it actually reduces the plaques that have been associated with Alzheimer's disease. So one study showed that people who took algal DHA for 6 months improved their memory to the level as if they were 3 years younger.
Do neurologists around the country recommend DHA omega-3s now?
Absolutely.
They do.
I recommend to all my patients.
I got to say, of all the supplements I've ever talked about on this show, the most important by far is DHA omega-3s. It is the #1 supplement I would take if I had a choice. There are others that I think make sense too, but this is the most important. It has the most scientific data behind it. It's good news to me that neurologists are routinely recommending this now.
I take it myself, my wife takes it, and my 2 little daughters, 5 and 7, they take it.
It's good news. I give it to my pets. All right. The second step on the plan is called brain-stimulating switch-ups. And please, if you can, explain what this really means.
When it comes to brain, use it or lose it applies more so to the memory muscles in your brain than your actual muscles. The more you use your brain, the stronger it gets. I usually recommend people to do training exercises that require activity in both sides of the brain, such as tango. My wife and I love tango.
Tango dancing?
Absolutely, yes.
We have a video of this. I wish I did.
We actually do.
Oh, my goodness.
But the simple things you can do on a daily basis are things like putting your watch on the other hand, swapping hairbrush and hair dryer hands, right backwards, and eat with other hand.
All right, so these brain-stimulating switch-ups help build that hippocampus that we looked at earlier.
Absolutely.
Literally making it larger.
Medical students who memorize a lot of information have a bigger hippocampus.
How do you like that? Yes. All right, step 3 is the 7-7-7 stress-busting breath. Stress is a big issue for our brains. We have talked about that. It's a bad problem for our health as well. But why in particular such a problem for our brains?
Stress increases levels of cortisol. Cortisol is the worst poison for your brain. People who have high anxiety and stress all the time have a smaller hippocampus. Also, people who have sleep apnea, people who have obesity and snore at night, they also have high levels of cortisol. Let me show you what happens to the brain when the cortisol levels are high or when people have sleep apnea or other vascular risk factors. These are 2 examples of brains from 2 different individuals. One person had normal aging, and as you can see, the brain is nice and full. This is an example of a patient who was diagnosed with dementia.
Oh, my goodness.
And people who have sleep apnea or have high stress experience a lot of shrinkage. See all these gaps? Once upon a time, there was a lot of brain tissue here. So can
you all see the difference between these 2? See how they are deep crevices in this brain? Literally, the brain is shriveling like a walnut down, whereas the brain that's healthy is large. Physically, it's larger, even though the person's the same size.
20 or 30% smaller for people who have multiple vascular risk factors.
Huh. These are massive changes.
Diabetes, hypertension. So I recommend that people reduce the stress, and a simple way to reduce the stress is to do this simple breathing technique where you breathe in to the count of 7, you hold for 7 seconds, and you breathe out with a count of 7.
So you're all ready to do this? We're going to count it on 7, we're going to hold it for 7, we're going to breathe out on 7. These sound like simple, easy things to do. You know, I call them no-brainers because if you don't do them, you'll have no brain. All right? Ready? Here you go. So, counting on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now hold it for 7. I know this seems harder than you would think. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now slowly loosen your belly up. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7.
I feel relaxed already.
Now, how does that breathing exercise help the brain in particular?
It calms your nerves. And studies have shown that people who do mindful exercises, relaxation exercises, increase the size of their hippocampus in as little as 8 weeks. Our hippocampus can grow and shrink really easily, and I focus on all the things that can increase the size of your hippocampus.
All right, so one of those factors is step 4, which is to tease your memory. Now, Dr. Fatoui argues that it's something we can actually all do. Why is it so important to tease the memory itself, to do activities that stress it beyond what you normally have to do?